Well, it finally happened. I've waited about a week before making this video, but it looks like it's finally time to address the mass sell-off that the stock market is seeing, specifically in artificial intelligence companies. After 2 years of extremely bullish activity for the precious metals, silver and gold's intangible cousin, the stock market, is finally experiencing a significant sell-off. I've been talking about this for probably 7 or 8 months now, and it looks like it's finally taking place. With how difficult it is for everyday people to get by now, it really didn't make sense why companies continue to rally more and more in the upwards trajectory for months and months and months on end. We the people are what makes up the economy, and the job reports have been horrible for many months in a row at this point. So it always begged the question, how do these markets continue to rally, and are they overbought and overvalued? So today, without further ado, we're going to talk about the continued failure of these top companies and how it relates to stackers. Let's get into it. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe as we push hard for 7,000 subs. Let me preface this video by stating that none of this is financial advice. This is just my opinion. I'm just a guy talking on the internet that happens to love silver and gold. In the past several months, I've been comparing the appreciation of silver and gold versus the stock market and what factors have been driving the prices of metals in an upwards direction. Life continues to get harder and harder financially for everyday common working class people. Meanwhile, specific areas of the market continue to rally at unprecedented rates. And the message that I've been putting across all along is, with how rapidly things are changing and how uncertain the future is and how speculative these new technologies that are being released are, that in my personal opinion, security and stability and consistent growth and even slower growth is more valuable than the brightest, flashiest new company that hits the S&P 500. And if you also value security and stability and control over your own wealth, check out channel sponsor PIMBEX. They've got great prices, secure shipping, and they just happen to be so kind to support the 49's Fine YouTube channel. So if you'd like to pick up silver and gold at good prices, check out pimbex.com. One thing I also want to say is I'm not against investing in the stock market. I actually have an ETF that I really enjoy. While it's been pretty stagnant for about a year now, it does pay very high dividends, and it's also not susceptible to overhyped stocks that we see in the markets today. And as we all know, many growth ETFs are heavily weighted in tech companies at this point. VOO, the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, one of the most popular index funds that you can invest in, happens to have a 37% allocation to tech stocks. And that's given me an eerie feeling for a while now. And many longtime viewers have heard me talk about it multiple times. But that's enough rambling. Let me get into the meat and potatoes, the real numbers of what's going on right now. I think this is very relevant because the companies I'm about to talk about are direct opposites, in my opinion, to what silver and gold represent. Silver and gold represent stability, security, consistent but slower growth that is secure over time. Meanwhile, on the other end of the spectrum, you've got Bitcoin, which has crashed roughly 21% since the beginning of November. The price moved from 110,000 per Bitcoin down to 85,000. Now, that's nothing new for cryptocurrency, but the volatility of it is something to take note when you're comparing it to something that's more consistent like gold. Across the broader crypto markets, over $1 trillion has been wiped out from the total cryptocurrency market capitalization. Let's go ahead and take a look at Palantir, which is an artificial intelligence company. It's deeply ingrained in government operations, and many people believe it's the company that's going to push forward and develop a surveillance state over American citizens in the future, but maybe I'll talk about that in another video on a different channel. Palantir is down 25% since November 3rd at the time of filming. The stock price went from around $207 per share on November 3rd all the way down to $156 on Friday, November 20th. NVIDIA, which is a graphics processing company that designs the hardware blueprints for components that many AI data centers need to fuel their large language models, is also down roughly 16% since the beginning of November. Tons of money is being wiped off the market. Meanwhile, stock ticker VOO, the Vanguard S&P ETF Broad Index Fund is down roughly 4% from the beginning of November. It hasn't been as negatively affected as these individual stocks, of course, but a percentage loss is still a percentage loss. And if these companies continue to lose market capitalization, they are so heavily weighted in many growth ETFs that it's going to significantly hinder the growth of these broad index funds, despite there being 500 of the biggest companies in the world inside of them. So what does this mean for silver and gold stackers? How does this relate to silver and gold stackers? In my opinion, I think silver and gold stackers view the world a bit differently. They view value differently. They're not as influenced by advertising as most people are. They don't buy into the hype of things the way most people do. They just think a bit differently than the mass public. And I'm pretty confident in saying that the average stacker has less debt than the average non-stacker. And I also believe that the average stacker has a little bit better grasp of what their net worth is than the average non-stacker does. But for the past 6 or 7 months, probably since the early spring, I've been talking about these price movements in the traditional stock markets, and I just haven't been convinced by it. Public companies continue to gain and gain and gain more value at insane rates over the past 18 to 24 months, and it really just didn't make a ton of sense to me how that could be the case whenever you've got something like gold rallying at the same time. To me, it looked like the world credit system was shaking a bit, things were getting a bit unstable, inflation has clearly taken a strong grasp around a lot of things, home prices are higher than ever, personal consumer credit card debt is higher than ever, wages are most certainly not keeping up, groceries are getting more expensive than ever, utility bills are high. It just didn't make a lot of sense as to how so many companies could continue to rally in the upwards direction month over month over month over month. Meanwhile, at the very same time, real value like silver and gold was rallying along with it. It really didn't make sense. It's like an upside down world. History shows that whenever economies are struggling, whenever inflation is negatively affecting every economic sector, starting from the bottom poverty line all the way up to the top, things like silver and gold retained their value and even increased in value due to their scarcity. And I think now that we're seeing these top performing companies really taking significant hits, it really kind of puts the writing on the wall for me as to what's going on. I've said it before and I'll say it again, the truth is eternal and the truth comes out eventually. Lies can be told for a significant extended period of time, but eventually the truth always comes out. And the truth is that yes, there is value in the stock market. Yes, there are a bunch of excellent companies that you can invest in. There's plenty of great index funds that you can place your money into and enjoy compound growth. But are all of these companies valued as highly as they appear to be, while everyday common people continue to struggle to get by? I don't think so. And what I find unfortunate about it is the youth is all into crypto. They want instant gratification. It's very exciting. You could invest $1,000 and end up a multi-millionaire. Sure, that could happen. It has happened to a very small amount of people. But what's upsetting about it is that there's all this hype and all this noise in and around a lot of investments that aren't actually worth that much. And that's what we're seeing in the markets today. Everybody's been talking about AI. AI is everywhere. It's all over the news all the time. How highly the companies are valued is on the news all the time. Everybody's talking about it. Meanwhile, comparatively, silver and gold gets like zero attention in comparison to these speculative things that you could invest into. And I don't want to go so far as saying that I feel some form of vindication in that some of these companies are losing tons of value. I just think that it's important to acknowledge where real value is, where the real risk is, and where the real stability is. And at the end of it all, I really just wish that more people knew about this. I wish they knew where real value is. And unfortunately, they just don't. And I don't know how I can spread the word about it outside of a YouTube channel. channel. And even with the YouTube channel and the exposure that the 4-9's Fine channel gets, it's being put in front of people that are already stacking. There's not really a way to spread the word of what real stability is, what real security is, what being your own bank is actually like, what preserving your wealth is actually like. It's very difficult to try to figure out a way to get stacking exposure in front of people that don't even know what it is, you know, and there's just so much noise pointing everybody in all these different directions. And a lot of the time, the directions that people are being pointed in, I think, are just not the best places to go. But we'll see what happens with this market. If these leading AI companies, these leading tech companies continue to falter and continue to lose value in the markets, it's gonna drive down the overall value of many investors' portfolios when it doesn't have to be that way. And yes, it's true, the market runs in cycles, but whenever you take a look at inflation, how much the dollar has been degraded, how much money is getting ready to be printed, it really is kind of a bummer to see these markets take a downturn while also simultaneously seeing the dollar getting cut at its knees more and more and more. In a lot of ways, I've kind of just stepped away from basically everything that's popular. That's what I've noticed is since I've started stacking, I've kind of stepped away from everything that is common, if that makes sense. Whether it be popular products that are being advertised everywhere, the newest clothing, the newest electronics, whatever it happens to be, the newest hyped up cryptocurrency or the newest hyped up stock. I've kind of stepped away from everything that is being pushed heavily at me, and instead I've kind of looked at things that are a bit quieter, that I have to go out and search for. And it seems to have served me pretty well in the short time that I've been silver and gold stacking. But anyways, guys, this video was all just kind of a bunch of rambling. I apologize about that, but I just kind of wanted to acknowledge what silver and gold has done in the past couple of years versus what the stock market is doing. But anyways, guys, I hope everybody's doing well out there. Stay safe, keep stacking. Peace.